Official report to the Galactic Military Academy Board. Incident log, a 47392-B. Status, classified. Subject, unprecedented breach of traditional military doctrine. Submitted by High Commander Zoltos Ravex. Department of Advanced Strategic Operations. Date, Galactic Standard Cycle 3279.4. Preface, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Accept That Humans Are Completely Insane. Let me be crystal clear about something before I begin this report. I've dedicated 157 cycles to military education. I've written 43 textbooks on siege warfare. I've trained species from every corner of our galaxy in the art of methodical combat. I'm the youngest ever recipient of the Grand Strategic Excellence Medal, and I hold honorary degrees from 12 different war colleges. And today, 4 human cadets made me question whether I know anything about warfare at all. Takes long drink from emergency flask. For those unfamiliar with our prestigious Century Siege training program, and after today's events I suspect everyone in the galaxy will soon know about it, allow me to provide some context. The Century Siege is the crowning achievement of the Galactic Military Academy's Advanced Strategic Operations Department. It's a hyper-realistic simulation designed to teach the fundamental principles of prolonged siege warfare. The scenario: a fortress carved into an unscalable mountain. Defensive systems so advanced they make a Crixian puzzle vault look like a child's toy. Enough supplies and automation to withstand decades of isolation. The objective: capture the command center. The expected time frame: minimum 3 months of careful planning and execution. The record attempt before today: 47 days by an elite team of Arxian master strategists. Then came the humans. Part 1. The Calm Before the Storm, or Why I Should Have Called in Sick Today. It started like any other day at the Academy. I was in my office, sipping my morning blend of Zentarian calming tea, reviewing student assessments, and generally enjoying the peaceful atmosphere that comes with teaching methodical, disciplined warfare to the galaxy's finest military minds. The door chime rang. "Enter," I called out, not looking up from my holopad. I should have looked up. Stars, I should have looked up. "Good morning, High Commander." The voice was bright, cheerful, and vibrating with that unique energy that only humans seem to possess. I raised my eyes to find 4 Terran cadets standing before me, practically bouncing on their toes. I recognized them from the Advanced Combat Theory class, though honestly, humans all look somewhat similar to my 4 eyes. Lieutenant Sarah Rocket Chen, and I would soon learn exactly why she had that nickname, stood at the front. Behind her were cadets Marcus Mad Dog Thompson, Alexandra Boom Boom Petrov, and David the Doctor Martinez. I'd later discover that humans have this peculiar habit of giving each other secondary designations based on either their characteristics or, more worryingly, their preferred methods of causing chaos. "We'd like to attempt the Century Siege scenario," Chen announced, her smile wide enough to make me instinctively check if my emergency shield generator was within reach. I blinked all 4 eyes in sequence, a sign of confusion in my species. "The Century Siege? Are you certain? Most first-time participants prefer to start with the weekend warfare scenarios, or perhaps the month-long meditation." "Nope," Thompson cut in, popping the P in a way that somehow made it sound like an explosion. "We've studied all the previous attempts. We think we've got a solid plan." That should have been my first warning sign. Humans who claim to have a solid plan are, I've learned, about as trustworthy as a hungry Varaxian claiming they just want to shake your hand. "Very well," I said, because apparently I had temporarily lost all common sense. "The next available slot is in 3 days. "Actually," Petrov interjected, "we were hoping to run it today, right now if possible." Martinez held up what appeared to be a large equipment bag. "We brought our own gear." My secondary heart did a little flutter of concern. The rules didn't technically prohibit participants from bringing their own equipment, mainly because in 100 years no one had ever brought anything beyond standard military gear. What could 4 cadets possibly have that would affect a siege designed to last months? Oh, how naive I was. Part 2. The pre-show, or when I should have started running. After completing the necessary paperwork, humans are surprisingly efficient at paperwork when it stands between them and potential mayhem, we proceeded to the simulation chamber. The massive holographic arena could reproduce any battlefield conditions with perfect accuracy, complete with environmental effects, AI-controlled defensive systems, and real-time physics modeling. As the cadets prepared their equipment, I took my place in the observation room, ready to begin my usual routine of documenting another lengthy siege attempt. That's when I noticed something odd about their gear. "Lieutenant Chen," I called over the comm, "is that a civilian gravitic propulsion unit?" "Yep," she replied cheerfully, strapping what looked like a heavily modified recreational flying device to her back. "Got it from the Extreme Sports shop in the station's civilian sector. Great customer service." "And those," I squinted at the objects Petrov was carefully arranging, "are those mining charges?" "Sure are." Petrov grinned. "They were having a sale. Buy 10, get 2 free. Can't beat that deal, right?" "Thompson, is that a professional-grade sound system?" "Latest model," he confirmed, setting up speakers that seemed far too large for any practical military application. "Got it from my cousin's DJ business. The bass on this baby can literally make you see colors that don't exist." "And Martinez? What exactly is in that case labeled Plan B?" "Oh, you know," he said vaguely, patting a container that was emitting a faint humming noise. "Just some backup options. Nothing illegal. Well, nothing illegal in at least 60% of known space." I should have stopped them right then. I should have quoted Regulation 47B about unauthorized equipment. I should have remembered that letting humans get creative is like giving antimatter to a toddler. The results will be spectacular, but at what cost? Instead, I just sighed and initiated the simulation startup sequence. "Remember," I said, trying to maintain some semblance of professional dignity, "the goal is to capture the command center. The fortress is designed to be impregnable. Its defenses are layered and sophisticated. The recommended approach is to establish a base camp and begin with reconnaissance." "Quick question," Chen interrupted. "The rules just say we need to capture the command center, right? Nothing specific about how we do it?" "Well, technically, yes, but—" "Awesome!" all 4 humans shouted in unison, sharing looks that made my survival instincts scream in terror. "Timer starts in 3, 2, 1. I activated the scenario, settling in for what I assumed would be at least several weeks of observation. I really need to stop making assumptions about humans. Part 3. The first 5 minutes, or everything starts exploding. The Sentry Siege scenario materialized around the cadets, a massive mountain fortress rising into the simulated sky, its perfect defense systems humming with deadly energy, its walls gleaming with enough armor to withstand a small fleet bombardment. A marvel of military engineering that had humbled the greatest tactical minds in the galaxy. The humans took one look at it and started laughing. Before I could process what was happening, Thompson had set up his sound system and was connecting it to what appeared to be a custom-built electronic warfare module. "Hey, Prof," he called out. "Ever heard of something called baby metal?" I hadn't. I wish I still hadn't. The air suddenly filled with what I can only describe as a violation of several universal constants. It was music, technically, but music that seemed designed to simultaneously confuse, energize, and possibly cause structural damage. The fortress's sensor arrays, programmed to detect and analyze all potential threats, began struggling to process the acoustic assault. Meanwhile, Petrov had scattered her mining charges in what appeared to be a random pattern around the fortress's base. "Hey, Sarah," she called to Chen, "bet you can't beat my high score from the Martian cave diving championships." "Oh, it is so on," Chen replied, activating her gravitic propulsion unit. The device hummed to life, clearly modified well beyond its intended recreational specifications. "Wait!" I tried to interject. "What are you—" Chen shot straight up the sheer cliff face of the mountain, moving at speeds that made my professional military assessment software have what humans would call a mental breakdown. The fortress's defense systems, programmed for conventional siege warfare, didn't even register her as a threat initially, probably because no sane being would attempt such a suicidal approach. But Chen wasn't done. As she rocketed upward, she began singing. Yes, singing. Something about being a shooting star and breaking through. The other humans joined in through their comlinks, turning what should have been a serious military exercise into what I would later learn was called a flash mob. Martinez, meanwhile, had opened his mysterious Plan B case and removed what looked like a child's toy drone equipped with— were those party streamers? "Initiating Operation Sparkly Distraction," he announced, launching a swarm of small drones that began circling the fortress, trailing glitter and holographic projections of something called dancing cat videos. Part 4. The next 5 minutes. Or physics files for unemployment. The fortress's AI defense systems were not programmed to handle this level of absurdity. They tried to target Chen's ascent, but Thompson's sonic warfare had compromised their targeting algorithms. They attempted to shoot down Martinez's drones, but the glitter was playing havoc with their optical sensors. They tried to analyze Petrov's mining charges, but the pattern was so illogical that the prediction software crashed, trying to determine the strategic purpose. "Time check," Chen called out as she reached the halfway point up the mountain. 7 minutes, 43 seconds, Martinez replied. "You're falling behind your personal best." "Can't have that!" Chen reached into a pocket and pulled out— oh, stars. Was that an energy drink? The warning labels on those things are longer than some peace treaties. She somehow managed to drink it while vertical climbing at speeds that made my simulation safety protocols send me 14 different alert messages. The empty container she casually tossed behind her managed to knock out 2 defensive turrets in what she would later insist was totally planned. Trust me. Petrov had begun detonating her mining charges in what appeared to be a rhythm synchronized to Thompson's music. The vibration set up a resonance pattern that shouldn't have been possible according to any military manual I've ever read. The fortress's structural analysis systems were sending out increasingly panicked reports about anomalous harmonic frequencies and undefined tactical paradigms. That's when Martinez implemented what he called Phase 2 of their plan. His glitter-bombing drones suddenly split into formation and began projecting a massive holographic image onto the fortress walls. It was some kind of Earth entertainment figure. A man who would never give you up, never let you down. The fortress's AI, attempting to process this new development, dedicated 47% of its computational power to trying to understand the cultural significance of the imagery. This proved to be a critical mistake. Part 5. The next 5 minutes. Or reality gives up and goes home. Chen reached the top of the fortress in what I can only describe as a triumph of caffeine over common sense. The defense systems, still reeling from the multi-sensory assault, managed to target her position and fired a concentrated energy burst. What happened next will haunt my nightmares forever. She detached the gravitic propulsion unit, threw it directly at the incoming energy burst, and then— Yeet! I've since learned this is some sort of human battle cry dating back to their pre-space era. The resulting explosion created a breach in the fortress's upper shields that, according to 17 different physics simulations I've run since, should not have been possible. But Chen wasn't done. As she fell through the explosion, she pulled out what appeared to be a personal shield generator and started surfing. Yes, surfing, on a shield, through an explosion, while humming something about hanging 10. "Boom, boom!" she called out to Petrov. "Now!" Petrov's seemingly random pattern of mining charges suddenly made sense, in the most nonsensical way possible. They detonated in sequence, creating a wave of controlled explosions that rippled up the mountain face. The vibrations, combined with Thompson's ongoing sonic assault, created what Martinez would later describe as a sick beat drop. The fortress's structural integrity began to fail in exactly the pattern they had somehow predicted. Chen, still shield surfing through the chaos, pulled out a grappling hook, because of course she had a grappling hook, and swung through a maintenance hatch that had been shaken loose by the vibrations. "Doctor!" Chen called out. "Hit it!" Martinez's drones suddenly stopped their glitter assault and instead released what appeared to be party balloons. No, not balloons. Decoy targets filled with a mixture of confetti and what I later learned was something called pure, unfiltered meme energy. The fortress's remaining defensive systems, driven to the edge of digital madness by Thompson's musical warfare, detected the sudden swarm of new targets and devoted all remaining resources to shooting them down. Each hit resulted in an explosion of confetti that further confused the sensors. Part 6. The Final 5 Minutes, or Everything Burns and Nothing Makes Sense. While the fortress's AI was having what humans call a complete meltdown, Chen had reached the inner corridors. The internal defense systems, designed to repel conventional military forces, were completely unprepared for a single human running on what appeared to be a mixture of energy drinks, adrenaline, and pure spite. "Hey, guys!" Her voice came over the comm, slightly out of breath but still disturbingly cheerful. "Remember that thing we learned in Professor Jin's anti-gravity combat class?" "The thing we got detained for?" Thompson asked. "The other thing." "The thing that got us banned from the cafeteria?" Petrov suggested. "No, the other thing." "Oh," Martinez exclaimed. "The thing with the artificial gravity generators and the— Oh, really? Here?" "Trust me, I saw one in the maintenance corridor. Thompson, can you get me a beat with exactly 147 BPM? Thompson adjusted his sound system, and suddenly the fortress was filled with something he called classic Earth dubstep. Chen, timing her movements to the rhythm, began what she would later describe as parkour, but make it physics-defying. Using the artificial gravity generators that helped maintain the fortress's internal environment, she somehow managed to run on the walls, ceiling, and occasionally in complete defiance of any rational understanding of gravitational forces. The internal defense turrets, trying to track her movement, ended up shooting each other. Meanwhile, Petrov had calculated exactly where Chen would emerge and was preparing what she called the grand finale. She had rigged her remaining mining charges into something that looked less like a military device and more like a celebration waiting to happen. "Time check!" Chen called out as she approached the command center. 18 minutes, 12 seconds, Martinez replied. "You've got this." The command center's doors, designed to withstand months of siege warfare, were protected by energy shields that could repel capital ship weapons. Chen took one look at them and did something that made me question everything I thought I knew about military doctrine. She pulled out a small device that was playing something called Never Gonna Give You Up at maximum volume and threw it through the shield generators. The AI, which had spent the last several minutes trying to understand the cultural significance of this particular melody, devoted precious microseconds to analyzing this new instance of it. That momentary distraction was all Chen needed. She slipped through the shields during the processing lag, reached the main control panel, and— "Hey, what does this big red button do?" "No!" I tried to shout, but it was too late. She pressed it. Part 7. The Aftermath. Or How I Learned That Humans Are Actually Worse Than We Thought. Total time elapsed. 19 minutes and 47 seconds. The simulation ended with the command center captured, the fortress's AI having what Martinez described as an existential crisis, and me seriously considering early retirement to a nice, quiet meditation colony on the outer rim. As the holographic environment faded away, all 4 humans gathered in the center of the chamber, performing a ritual they called a group high five, while cheering something about speedrun strats and YouTube worthy. "So," Chen asked, still slightly smoking from various explosions, "did we beat the record?" I stared at them, all 4 of my eyes probably twitching. You didn't just beat the record. You took a century of carefully developed military doctrine and turned it into a party?" Thompson suggested helpfully. "A really efficient party," Petrov added. "With a killer soundtrack," Martinez chimed in, still adjusting levels on his sound system. "Though next time I think we should try dubstep metal fusion instead." "Next time?" My voice might have risen several octaves. "Next time?" "Yeah." Chen's eyes lit up with that terrifying human enthusiasm. "We've got some ideas for optimizing our route. I bet we could shave at least 2 minutes off if we use the quantum tunneling trick we learned in advanced physics. And I've been working on this new baseline that technically qualifies as a sonic weapon in 37 star systems," Thompson added proudly. I held up all 4 hands in what I hoped was a universal gesture for "please stop talking before my brain implodes." Let me be perfectly clear. What you just did was awesome, Petrov suggested. Revolutionary, Martinez offered. A complete violation of every principle of siege warfare ever established, I finally managed to say. You can't just parkour your way through a military operation. The humans exchanged looks that I've come to recognize as their challenge-accepted expression. Oh no. Actually, High Commander, Chen pulled out a datapad. There's nothing in the Galactic Military Code that specifically prohibits the use of parkour in combat situations. I checked. Twice. Also got it notarized. Or the use of memes as psychological warfare, Martinez added. Or energy drinks as performance enhancers, Thompson chimed in. Or glitter as a tactical countermeasure, Petrov finished with a grin. I sank into my hover chair, suddenly feeling every one of my 157 cycles. Do you realize what you've done? Once word of this gets out. As if summoned by my words of doom, my communication unit started buzzing. Messages were pouring in from every department in the academy. The Arxians wanted to know if recreational sports equipment was now considered standard military gear. The Valaxians were requesting a complete musical analysis of the Sonic Warfare playlist. The Zentarians, our most spiritually advanced species, were asking if vibing counted as a valid tactical approach. Oh, hey, Martinez peered at his own device. We're trending on Galactic Talk. Someone in the observation room recorded the whole thing. I froze. Who else was in the observation room? Just some exchange students from the Rigel system, Thompson shrugged. They seemed really excited about the whole thing. Keep sending me friend requests. Exchange students? My secondary heart nearly stopped. The Rigel system? The ones who are here representing 17 different military academies across 3 galactic arms. Yep, Chen beamed. They said they're already implementing our tactics into their training programs. Something about a paradigm shift in modern warfare. That's when my emergency alert system started blaring. Messages were coming in from the Academy Board, the Strategic Command, and, oh stars, the Galactic Defense Council itself. The humans, meanwhile, had huddled together and were already planning their next run. So I've been thinking, Petrov was saying, what if we combined the mining charges with some fireworks? You know, really lean into the whole shock and awe thing. Ooh, and we could sync it to that new K-pop track I found. Thompson's eyes lit up. Plus, Martinez added, pulling out another mysterious device from his Plan B case. My cousin just sent me this prototype hoverboard. No! I shouted, perhaps a bit too loudly. No more runs. No more optimizations. No more turning ancient military traditions into what you call extreme sports. They all turned to look at me with those unnervingly innocent expressions that humans do so well. "But High Commander," Chen said sweetly, "we haven't even tried it with the rocket-powered skateboards yet." That's when my third heart gave out. Epilogue. 1 week later, or the galaxy will never be the same. I'm writing this report from my medical bed in the Academy's recovery wing. The doctors say all 4 of my hearts should resume normal function eventually, though they've prescribed a strict no-human interaction diet for at least a month. In the week since the incident, the following has occurred. 1. The Century Siege scenario has been temporarily suspended, pending a complete review of non-traditional tactical approaches. 2. 17 different species have submitted formal requests to include human parkour in their basic training programs. 3. The Galactic Defense Council has created a new task force specifically to study what they're calling the human approach to tactical evolution, HATE for short. 4. Sales of civilian gravitic propulsion units have increased by 3,000% across all sectors. 5. Something called siege speedrunning has become an unofficial sport at military academies throughout known space. 6. The humans have submitted no less than 47 proposals for improving other classical military training scenarios. I've been specifically instructed not to read them until my hearts have fully recovered. 7. 3 different publishing houses have contacted me about writing a book titled The Art of War Human Edition, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Chaos. 8. Thompson's Tactical Soundtrack has somehow become the top-selling music collection in 5 sectors. I'm told it's particularly popular among Arxian meditation groups, which raises concerns. As for the 4 humans responsible for this paradigm shift in military doctrine, they've been assigned to help modernize our training programs. The board seems to think their unique perspective could be valuable. I've submitted my retirement papers 3 times. They keep being returned with notes about exciting opportunities for growth and embracing new tactical paradigms. The humans visit me in the medical wing occasionally. They bring get-well cards that play something called Rick Astley when opened. They assure me this is a great honor in their culture. I'm not sure I believe them, but I'm also not sure of anything anymore. Yesterday, Chen stopped by to show me their plans for the orbital defense scenario. I made the mistake of looking at them. My 4th heart is now under observation. I've heard rumors that they're already taking bets on how quickly they can complete the Millennium March scenario, our year-long endurance training program that simulates extended planetary campaigns. I don't want to know what they're planning, I really don't. But I've already requested a transfer to the maximum security bunker, just in case. End report. Personal addendum. If anyone needs me, I'll be in the relaxation colonies of the Carina Nebula. Do not forward my location to any humans, especially not if they're carrying energy drinks, sound systems, or anything labeled Plan B. High Commander Zaltos Ravex. Currently on extended medical leave. Possibly retiring. Definitely installing better heart monitors.